All right, well, got Black Betty most of the way, tore her down before I had to go on my business trip, and was able to order a bunch of parts while I was out there. And haven't quite got everything in yet, but I definitely got enough to get started. Huge thanks to Rob and John down at Eagles and Flight in Concrete, Washington. They're my S&S dealer who I get my parts through. And go through everything we got here. I wanted to make sure that we really took care of putting some good components back in there, since the bike is 7 years old and has some miles on it and had a failure, obviously. So we're going to put S&S cam plate, doing a S&S oil pump kit. It'll keep oil pressure going through there and relatively steady through the whole thing. If you want to look in the box, S&S is really good about sending the stuff that you need with it. It includes the Loctite, includes their favorite brand of assembly lube, which is really important. With my head kit, which I'll show you the heads here in a minute, got every gasket you need to do the top end, including exhaust and intake seals. Got the new head gaskets themselves. Was not going to stay with the lifters that were in there. I don't know if they were stock hydraulic lifters or if they are performance, but we're throwing these S&S lifters in there. Since we're running high compression, I decided to go with the Screaming Eagle plugs. Don't argue with me on the plugs. I don't really know that one is really better than the other, and there's a lot of contention over whether the plugs really make a difference, but I wanted to go with something that had a little bit more than the ones that were in there when the heads failed. We're doing new jugs. The 103s that were in there looked fine, but if I was tearing it apart, I was going to spend a little extra money and put it back together. So these are the S&S 107 jugs, and with the S&S 107 jugs, they've sent us the Carrillo 107 high compression domed head pistons. So we're going to get these in there. Of course, they come with all the rings, and we'll have to do the gapping and all that. So it's not actually like just slap in parts. We're going to make sure that cam chain stays where it needs. We're going to use the new S&S hydraulic cam chain tensioners. So these are the 89cc S&S heads, and they're ported, polished, and flowed. Oversized valves, and I can get the specs and post them on the site when I get there for the size of the valves. But they're going to really open up and let that Woods 777 cam that's in there actually do what it was meant to do. And in case you don't know, 2010s do not come with the electronic compression releases. So we got the S&S manual compression release kit, and I'm going to stab that in there. It was actually one of the more expensive components that I put in there, but it's going to make starting this bike in Sturgis, more of a possible thing. When the Rub that owned this bike had it built, they put the Harley-Davidson Easy Clutch, which just makes the pull better, but doesn't actually grip. And when I was running on the bike with the 103 and the cams, I could definitely feel that clutch was not really grabbing. So we got the Barnett extra disc performance clutch and the Barnett heavy duty performance spring. So this is going to make my clutch pull a little harder, and some folks might not like that, but I use my clutch a lot. I need the full throw of the clutch. This actually made the bike difficult for me to drive in ride in traffic, because I use that friction zone. For those of you who have been to motorcycle classes and they discuss the friction zone, that's very important to me, and this bike just didn't have it. It was either in or out, and I didn't care for it. So that's all the parts we got right now. When I get some other packages from UPS over the next couple days, then I'll showcase all of that. But right now this is enough to keep me busy. I think I can get the whole top end built up, and then when I get my cam install bearing and seal kit, then I'll get the cam case done and buttoned up, and then we'll get the exhaust back on and we'll get it all squared away. So looking forward to getting some miles on this thing and breaking it in, and we'll see what happens.